Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Perpetual Chess. Listeners, we have a returning guest who I haven't chatted with for more than 5 years, and it was well past time. So I'm excited to share a wide-ranging interview with Grandmaster Pontus Carlsson. More on that in a second, but first wanted to thank our sponsors, Chessable.com. My course is just about ready. It will be out hopefully at the end of August. It's called Identifying Critical Moments in Chess. It's about when to think and when not to think within a chess game. I worked really hard on it, and I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. I'll be talking more about it in future episodes, I'm sure, but the primary audience is about 1,000 to 1,600 level. But I think trainers will enjoy it as well. That it sort of lays out a framework. And like I said, it's something obviously regular listeners know. It's a topic I've thought a lot about, when to think in a chess game, and been tortured by for years. So I'm excited to share it. And Chessable, of course, has so many other great courses as well. Grandmaster Niels Grandelius has a new one on the Slav. Grandmaster RB Ramesh has a new course. So always just take a look at what they have to offer. And if you sign up for Chessable Pro, be sure to use the link in the description. As for our guest this week, as I mentioned, Grandmaster Pontus Carlsson. He's a Colombian-born, Sweden-raised, now Czech Republic-based chess player, trainer, Grandmaster. He's won youth national championships for Sweden. He speaks like 10 different languages. It's crazy. And he's always a lot of fun to talk with, always knowledgeable about all things chess. And this conversation, again, which is already recorded, is quite wide-ranging. We talk about we talk a little about the Magnus Hans Speed Chess Championship match that's coming up. We talk some Olympiad, some World Championship. Pontus also shares some helpful advice on chess improvement. But the reason I'm recording a separate intro is because it's a long interview when we covered a lot of topics, but I wanted to make sure everyone listening was aware of the event that Pontus's nonprofit Business Meets Chess and Kids is doing on August 25th, 12 p.m. New York time, broadcast on Twitch, emceed by Maurice Ashley. Basically, the way it works is kind of prominent people from the chess and the business world are paired with like a young star player who comes from an underprivileged background. Anyone who plays sponsors the kid, meaning they make a voluntary donation. I'll be playing in it, for example. And then they have like a hand and brain tournament, which is basically a fun form of tandem chess. So whether you're interested in participating by making a small donation to support one of these kids and playing on their team via Zoom and having it broadcast on Twitch, or if you just want to tune in to watch, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were all aware of it. And I'll link to all the details, and you can hear us discuss it more about 75 minutes into the interview. As always, there's timestamps of all the different topics we discuss, but did want to highlight that right off the top of this pod. So with that out of the way, I want to get you to this fun interview with Grandmaster Pontus Carlsson. Here he is. Welcome, Pontus.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. It's nice to be back. It was 5 years ago, right?
It's been too long, yeah. So you were just telling me you had a daughter in those intervening years. So 11, now she's 11 months old. So congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, a lot of things have happened. Also some virus, some COVID. Yeah, I remember. So it was quite weird 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been eventful, and yeah, sorry to hear that. Are you recovered? Any long-term symptoms from COVID?
Well, I mean, I think the rating system is still has symptoms. You know, the ELO system is still
right.
It's still down. It's still sick. Infected
your rating,
with COVID.
Your rating got COVID too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people.
Most Grandmasters rating got COVID. You know,
except for the kids.
Yeah, because it has been. I think you can see it. Most of the players, you know. If I haven't checked it properly with facts and everything like this, so I'm not gonna do a total Trump, yes, lie about some truth, but my expectations is that most Grandmasters have lost like 100 points.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, it goes beyond Grandmasters.
Yeah.
It goes
adults,
the whole way down.
Adults, you know. But okay, you know, Grandmaster, we didn't get our extra 100, 150 points, you know, when they were trying to fix the system. So we're on the losing side, you know. We will never get our points back, you know. It's a steal. This is the real steal.
Well, the idea, I guess, you know, I actually interviewed Jeff Sonos, the founder of Chess Metrics, and the guy who proposed those changes for FIDE. And the idea is that it will eventually filter through the system. So, you know, you can now that I get some points back, you can take it from wikis like me, and eventually eventually it'll filter through. But yeah, you guys have to wait at minimum.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the grandmasters are the losers, because we have to wait, and then we might be too old to recover our strength, So it's But I think the system was seriously broken. So it's good that they had tried to do something, to adjust the inflation.
Yeah,
I mean, it was complete. It was total chaos, I think. Especially
I definitely agree.
Like after COVID, because all these kids, they were just training, and playing online. So I played now. I just finished a tournament in Bratislava, and I mean, you sit there, you play with people who have like 400, 500 points lower, and it's a tight game, I was really suffering against a couple of players between 2021 50. I was really suffering, honestly. It was.
Did you manage to pull the games out?
2 draws. Okay. And then 2 draws, but this is something that when you check results from modern tournaments, then you can see that. I think if you compare like 20 years ago or something like this, or even if you go 10 years ago, I think that the grandmasters are losing much more points in tournaments because the people play better. The opening preparation is stronger, and it's also, of course, a bit our own fault because people are actually giving away much more in those chessable courses, and they are much higher quality than the books used to be before. It's just they're just much better.
Yeah, and they're constantly updated, and the chessable courses are great at explaining ideas, and then on top of that, you can just flick on an engine, if you're not sure about an opening position, and it's a whole new world. And when we last spoke, so you were working sort of in the marketing department for a bank in Prague. Do you still have the same, in addition to doing some chess training, do you still have the same day job, Pontus?
No, not anymore, actually. So what I'm doing nowadays is I just sit with my own investments. And then
good for you.
Yeah, it's good for me. And then I spend quite a lot of times with the non-profit.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Because the thing was that when my daughter was born, it was very hard to get the calendar, together because
balance everything.
It was impossible basically, and I mean, you sit there like 3-4 at night, and you can, and also I get older, so your body gets tired of this, sitting to 3-4 at night, finishing everything off and never get finished anyway. So it's so therefore I decided, okay, I must cut something out. And I think it's more important for the world with the non-profit than the banking,
Yeah, for sure. So what kind of investments are you doing?
It's mostly stock market.
Like individual companies?
Stocks basically, mostly, because during the pandemic, then I was doing quite a lot of, I was quite a lot of into stock market then. Because it was, you were working so much from home, it became like a trend. And then I just continued with this, like stock market trading, and it's, but I'm not like a day trader or something like this. I don't like that risk level. So I'm more. It's more like my chess, long term, small advantages. Now we go there.
Right.
Press, and then I mean some dragons you have as well, but not too much dragon.
Okay. And are you still, so you're running the nonprofit and you're doing some investments? Are you still doing any chess teaching?
Yeah, I do a little bit of the teaching as well, but and this is also something that is good because this is like my contact with chess,
Yeah.
Because I was I had less and less contact with chess as an active sportsman over the years. And also, of course, I mean, during this pandemic, it was impossible to play for I think, for everyone apart from like top 10, 15 in the world. No one else could play, because all the tournaments were banned, and it was just not possible to play other than online. And the online tournaments then they were not really nothing for me. I didn't find them so serious. It was so many cheaters, and it's not really. I'm also not that generation. I mean, I'm not Kramnik, but I'm a bit better than Kramnik at computers. He's better at chess, but I'm better at computers. But still, I'm not like those kids nowadays. They're really grown up with this technology, and they are very, very fast with the mouse and this, and then. I also thought it was too many cheaters, because also like Chess2Change, they actually there was a lot of cheaters that were never exposed as well, So if you are a little bit in the chess world, then it's many more that are revealed,
Yeah,
it's a little bit like in the banking, there is this phishing, which is a huge problem in the banking industry, and no one talks about it. It's like because every bank loses a lot of money on this, and then it's always the case that sometimes some banks in some countries, banks have different policies, when it comes to phishing. Like sometimes you reimburse the customers, and sometimes you don't do it. It depends on what policy the bank has. And also,
that's something worth looking into.
Yeah, but no one talks about this. You're gonna have a big hard time trying to interview people to find out, But it's a lot of cyber crimes out there at the moment, and has been for a bunch of years. But it has been growing, So the banks, they lose a lot of money on this, and it's serious sums actually that every bank is losing on this. And it's I have the same feeling, with this, with Chess2Change and the cheaters. It's like you just see the top of the iceberg. There's many, many, many more cheaters.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say no one's talking about it in the chess world. It's certainly
you have some guys talking quite a lot about it, and I think for Magnus it was a bit costly. He had to pay a lot of money to Hans for that one. But okay, that's between them. It's well, we're recording this on August 12th, and the big news in the chess world is that Magnus will play a rematch against Hans in the Speed Chess Championship in early September in Paris for Chess.com. Are you following that story, Pontus? No, not really, because as people know, I know Magnus very well. I've known him since he was 8 years old. When we first saw him, and he was like. It was the first time I met him, and he was like a small kid in the corner, and he was sitting, on his knees because he couldn't reach the board, and then he was eating raisins, and we were playing with the Swedish national team. It was like the Nordic Championship for youth, Nordic Team Championships for national teams, and we were playing in Norway in Gausdal. It's like a top of a mountain. And then basically he was sitting there like that, and we were like, okay, who invited this kid, like, what is he doing here, and then the moves came, and we were like, oh, he's really, really good, because he was.
You're what, 8 years older than him?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 8 years older than him, and he was already really good, But actually, my friend beat him. In that game also, because the thing was that the round was heavily delayed. I think I told you this story before. It was heavily delayed, and then basically we were playing in the late in the evening, and of course it was beyond his bedtime at some point. So my friend then Amir, he got a draw offer, and he wanted to take it, because it was his clear draw at the position. And he thought also that Magnus played very well, and he said, okay, let's just take it. But he went to our captain, Grandmaster Stellan Brunel, and Stellan said, no. He's a kid. He's going to be tired soon, and then he's going to make a mistake. You just play on. and so he played on, and then that's happened. Magnus got tired, and then he almost fell asleep, and then they blundered, and Amir won, And,
wow.
And then he's been working in the Swedish trade and industry after that, and also globally. He's been also working in China and so on. But he has been living on this, It's like his trademark, And I think Magnus gets older and older and older every time he tells the story. But the truth is that he was an eight-year-old boy that was falling asleep because it was beyond his bedtime, But
that's funny.
Yeah, it was quite funny. But that was the first time I met Magnus, And then we have met each other many times, and since then, and so I talk now and then with him, and he's. I think it was very nice for him to stop playing those World Championship matches because he felt pressed,
Yeah.
He didn't enjoy it, and I was actually talking to him also when he was playing the match in New York,
which was the last time we talked. It was like during one of the games. I was listening. I was listening to that interview.
Exactly, and he lost. That game 8 there with Karyakin, and then he was really not in a good place.
Sorry. The last time we talked was during the Caruana match, not the Karyakin match. But anyway, go ahead.
In London there, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This was 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
So then when he lost that game, he was not in a good place and so on. But then he turned that match around. But I've seen him over the years, like when he doesn't enjoy this, And we talked about it in when we played this World Rapid and Blitz in Poland. Over one dinner over there, we basically. Then he told me that he's not going to play, And the only chance that he would have played would have been if Firuza won.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to beat the younger generation, prove that he can take all generations,
Well, they're coming if he still wants to play them. Gukesh might be world champion in a couple months.
Yeah, so. now he's out. He doesn't want to do this because, and also for him it was such a good decision because I don't think has there been any studies, on those matches, how they affect people's mental health and physical health.
There's some anecdata based on recent behavior of former world champions, but yeah, I don't think there's been
no, because
I
know that Vlad actually got sick for 2 years after that match with Topalov. I don't know if you remember that the toilet gate that they had there. Mm-hmm. Were you there? Even in the
No, I wasn't there, but I remember it.
Yeah, no. So they actually he got sick 2 years, after that match.
It's stressful.
And there's been more. Of course, Fischer was maybe he was mad before the match, but we don't really. Yeah. I wasn't even born then, so I don't know. I can't say anything, But but there's been a bunch of cases, when people have got sick. And look at Ding, for example. Now he's not doing well at all.
It's sad to see, and it happened for him so quickly. He won, and then he just mentally it's taken a toll.
But I think it's too much pressure, basically, because in other sports, you play the match, maybe there's like a build up to the match, like let's say martial arts or something like this, UFC or whatever it is, boxing, to take boxing. Then there's a build-up, for the match. But it's not like in chess that the build-up can be like 8, 9, 10 months, and then you play for a month. The pressure is I think it's too much for people, Especially now with social medias and so on. And I think it's too much pressure, It's very few that can handle this and be healthy.
It does seem that way.
And I think that's also a lot why Magnus wants to reduce. He had some ideas to reduce the time control. So the match gets shorter, you know, like, because, and it's the whole point of this is it's a lot to lower the stress level, you know.
Yeah, and increase the sample size, play more games.
Yeah. Of course, this is of course, and then of course, I mean, when he says it, it's also it becomes a bit biased because everyone knows he's very good in short time controls,
right.
You know. I mean, it's hard for FIDE to agree on it when he is the best in those time controls, you know.
Yeah,
because it also becomes like, okay, he's protected, then he will be world champion forever, you know.
Right.
Because it's
and what do you think about the Ding-Gukesh match?
I mean, right at the moment, I don't even see it as a match because I mean, Ding is ill, you know, and I mean, you can't play when you're ill.
Yeah.
So I think it's. I think it just proves that someone needs to look into this. You know, is it really something that you can do in 2024, 2025, you know, play for 1 month like this? Is it really the right way to do it? Because the pressure is enormous on the players, you know. And this match is going to go in Singapore, or where is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Singapore, yeah.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, it's better for Ding to play there than in China. In China, he will die, maybe, you know, from the pressure.
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to play. I mean, you remember when Anand took on Magnus inside India, you know? It's probably his biggest mistake ever, you know? Because it's very hard to play. I know that Magnus doesn't want to play in Norway, for example.
Right.
He was in Oslo. I remember he said finally that he could maybe play in Oslo, but he prefers when the match is somewhere else because it's too much, you know. Like the pressure, it's enough pressure already. But if you play on your home soil, the pressure is like times 5 or something. It's just too much.
Yeah.
So, and I think chess has reached like some kind of level where it's unbearable pressure, you know, like the
at least, but like if you go play a tournament, you don't feel that. Do you feel that way at your level? I mean, like regular Grandmaster level?
No.
So it's just
for me, it's totally different. But it's totally different. I mean, you don't have this. I don't know how many matches you have played because it's just different, you know. When you know that you're gonna play someone in 6 months, like the World Cup, then you get like a taste of this pressure, you know. When you have the World Cup, for example, because then you get some pairings, you know, and then in the World Cups there's so many players, so many times the pairings are not correct. There will be a change, a late change. It can also happen, but that's a tournament where you get like a taste of the pressure. But that's nothing, you know, compared to the World Championship match, because then there is no one else in the room, in the playing hall. There's no other game that you can, you know, relax and watch or whatever. It's just on you know. And like for in Magnus' case, for example, he also had now he sold his shares, but before he had his company as well. And then, you know, if he loses, if he's not world champion anymore, they were basically branding him as the world champion, world number 1. Then they have to rebrand him, you know, and he probably has to fire like 20 people. You know, it's also something that is in the back of your head, you know. When you sit there in the rook end game and you're like, oh, I can't lose this, I can't lose this, because then I have to fire, you know, this guy. And I mean, it's not very nice, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Well, let me ask you, Pontus. So we covered, there's like 3 major events coming up, one of them being the Hans-Magnus match that you're maybe have no comment on. By the way, for listeners, we'll be previewing that, and I'm sure we'll be previewing the World Championship. But there's also the Olympiad. Do you have anything? Are you planning to attend the Olympiad this year in Budapest?
Well, I'm not sure if I will pass by or something like this. I usually, I actually played a tournament. So I was playing a tournament in Bratislava, and then I flew through Paris. So for the Summer Olympics, I actually saw a little bit of the Summer Olympics from the airport, you know. But what I felt there was the atmosphere, you know. because this is honestly the first time in Paris that people are willing to speak English, and they are also very friendly, because usually at the airport they can be quite arrogant, in Paris. They are quite known for this. It can be extremely arrogant, and people are not very willing to speak English. But this was the first time, because I started to talk to them in French, and they actually voluntarily replied in English. And this has never happened to me before, because they were so used to it over the last 3 weeks. They have been used to all these people coming to Paris, and the atmosphere was fantastic. Paris has never been so welcoming and friendly. and what I wanted to get to with that is that during the Chess Olympiad, people are usually the country wants to show themselves from the best side, and it's usually a very nice atmosphere, So I think for everyone, I recommend people to go and visit and see an Olympiad and so on. But for me, Hungary is, to be honest, is not my favorite country, because they have a quite crazy president. I think he's totally nuts. Yeah. Viktor Orban, I think he's completely nuts, and he's. He's like you can say that it's a democracy on paper, but it's very dubious what he has done over there, and I'm not a big fan of that, But of course, I'm a big fan of chess and of the Olympiad, and I'm sure it's going to be nice for people, But I also have to say there has been a couple of cases. Last time when I was there, I was arrested for walking under a bridge. So it's not my favorite place to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To be honest,
but listen, man,
so it's 50-50. yeah. So some problems you have to take. If you win the tournament, everything is fine. so maybe I should go back. Yeah? But I will not play. So only to go there and get arrested under the bridge is not my favorite.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that good.
Yeah. So I have to play, and then since I don't play that much classical chess anymore, so I'm not going to play in Hungary. But the guy that you mentioned in the start, Nils Grandelius, is going to lead the Swedish team. So
do you know who else is playing?
Yes. It's the ones who are playing is. Grandmaster Blomqvist, he's experienced, and Tiger is still around, so he's going to play.
Great.
And then there's two younger guys, Milton Panzer and Martin Lukander. They are maybe not that widely known yet, but they are quite young and so on. But I think that. I don't expect any, big result, because I think that it's a bit difficult, because I think you need, Niels is of course a full-time professional. I mean, Tiger as well, Blomqvist as well. So 3 of them are full-time professionals. But I think it's very hard nowadays, if you just come there and play, and it's not so easy, Yeah. I mean, the competition is very fierce, and I think that even though Lukander is a huge opening expert and his openings are extremely good, I still think it's gonna be a bit hard. For me, he's a better second than player. I mean, he's not a bad player at all, but he's an excellent second, really, really excellent.
Right.
Last time when I played with the national team in a major tournament, he was actually my second, so he was helping me. And I mean, the files you get, you're like, oh, this is brilliant. When you're a grandmaster, you just wake up in the morning, someone puts like Lukander,
right?
Poor guy has analyzed all night. You wake up, he sends it to you. And you're like, oh, this looks good. Thank you, Martin. I'm just gonna.
Still gotta remember it though.
Yeah.
You still gotta remember the moves.
Okay, but this is for grandmasters is quite easy, because I would say that most of us, we have very good memory. So I prefer this.
Do you have any tricks? Like, do you play through the move? Do you play it on a board? Do you play it on digital? Do you just read the copy? Like, how do you approach it when you're trying to cram an opening into your head?
It depends on how much time I have, because sometimes when you have more time, and also what kind of line it is, if I still can play through it on the board if it's something really important, But most of the time nowadays is digital, that you just play through the line on the computer, and then you're like, okay, I know this. But the important thing for people out there is to remember the key IDs, because even if you forget a move later, if you remember the key IDs, you can still figure out the move. Because the thing is that when you just click through it and you don't really know what you're actually doing, then you're gonna struggle, because at some point you won't remember some move. But if you have grasped all the key IDs, then you will be able to find the move at the board. This has happened to me sometimes, that I've forgotten the exact move, but I remember the key ID, so then I could figure out the move at the board.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference. But I think the problem for lower rated players is it's not as intuitive to understand the key ideas. So it's like they have to work harder just to even understand it, or have to seek it out. But it is worth doing.
Yeah. You need to like figure out, like, okay, what are the key moves, and those you need to remember. And sometimes it can be. I'm sure that there is some memory expert out there that can. We actually had a world champion in memory in Sweden. That he actually. This guy, Jonas von Essen, he actually used to play chess in a chess club there in Gothenburg. So I'm sure he can tell you everything about this if you bring him on the podcast, because but as I've understood it, and also what I'm using myself, that you need something to the memory, you need to focus on something, and for example, if you have a certain key ID or some key move, one thing that if you remember, let's say you remember what number that move was in,
right?
Then you will remember the move. So
that's what, or at least you'll know if it's not the move in a certain position.
Yeah, so that's usually what I do. For example, I can do, okay, it was 17, G4, then I will remember it. Yeah, and usually important thing is to not just click through the lines, really try to focus on what's actually going on the board, Okay, I play G4 in order to go G5 next move and attack his knight on F6 or something. There's always some reason why you do the moves. And that is the thing that you need to get into your head, because if you remember that, then it's highly likely that you at least can figure it out at the board, what's going on.
Yeah, good advice.
Yeah, so it's very important to just remember. Not just click, because this is the biggest problem, I think. People have something and they just click through it, and then they get to the board and everything looks different. You don't remember anything,
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
It
happens.
It's excellent advice. And do you, in the work that you do with students, like what other advice do you give if like a parent pulls you aside of like a talented kid and says, what should my kid do? Like, what do you tell them?
It's different things, because it depends on the abilities of the kid as well, because sometimes the children are, very, very, most of the kids are usually quite good tactically, but sometimes it can be that someone is good, in openings, and then of course they have some other weakness in end games or in positional play or with initiative or whatever it can be. So it depends on the skills, the skill set that the student has. So I always analyze their games and check a little bit, where are they now?
And do you work with any adults, Pontus?
Yeah,
or have you?
Yeah, I have also adults. My students are, they are from kids to retired lawyers and so on.
How does your advice change for adults?
They need more repetition.
Yeah.
It's just, it's harder to remember. The kids are like, okay, you know, you tell them something and they're like, oh. And nowadays, I've noticed that they also Google a lot. they use, they Google a lot, you know. Like,
yeah.
And it's many times it comes like, I watched this YouTube video, you know, by someone, you know, and if it's Eric Rosen or whoever it is, you know, they tell me quite often nowadays, I didn't know what to play, so I just Googled this
right.
this video, and that's how they prepare. They prepare a lot of it with Googling, you know.
Yeah, when in YouTube, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I also noticed that it's like different generation coming now, you know, and they play a bit different. It's much more computerized and also I have to say a bit dirtier. This is because it's not like I mean, I played now in Switzerland also. I played a couple of tournaments there in Bratislava. I think it was very fine. I mean, they were very they played very fine, you know. It wasn't like but when I played in Biel in Switzerland, it was quite dirty, I have to say. It was
so like little tricks and stuff, or their sportsmanship, or what's the issue?
Slamming the clock, you know, like throwing the pieces, you know, setting up the piece. You know, they're turning pieces over, setting them up on my time. I mean, all these kind of things that was like a big no before. It's more, and I think it's because they're you know, brought up with playing online, and online is dirtier than live, you know.
Yeah.
And so people are,
and it's also just they have less experience playing live in many cases.
Yes. This of course as well, but it is like you have a generation that are brought up with for example, winning on time, you know, in a super drawn position. That's if you have done that, you know, for like 50% of your life. I mean, what do you expect them to do? You know, it's normal that they will do it until people maybe tell them, or there's some kind of conflict or something like this. I had a couple of incidents there in Switzerland. I wasn't very happy with it, and I actually stopped the clock a bunch of times with some young players, and they are talented. They play good, you know, but they do these kind of things, and I had some one game there with a young talent, and then when I stopped the clock and I told him basically, what are you doing? I mean, you don't play like this, you know. And then it was very very embarrassed. You could see like he was very sorry, and he said, I'm sorry. So it's like, I think it's this win. They really want to win, you know, and I think maybe this was the first time someone actually said something, you know, when I stopped the clock.
Yeah.
But then I also had another. I had some more encounters like this, and there was some one game I eventually lost, but of course it was mostly because of me, because I was completely winning against one of the Chinese guys over there, and he was really cheating. You know, he was putting the pieces in between 4 squares and 2 squares, and then I stopped the clock and I called the arbiter, and the arbiter didn't see anything, he said. So he just wanted to play on, and I somehow lost my concentration there, and managed to blunder and even lose a completely winning position. But these kind of things, of course, it happened before. You know, you have other players who also play a bit dirty. I mean, young Hikaru wasn't the nicest guy.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna, maybe I shouldn't reveal this, you know, because a lot of the
he's admitted it. I mean,
anyone who okay, then I will reveal it.
Yeah,
he wasn't very nice, to be honest. And if you beat him online, he was usually insulting people with all kinds of things, and he was, you know, using 2 hands and. And if you have a 2800 guy who's using 2 hands, it's a bit hard to win. It's like
so that's 1 hand to move the piece, 1 hand to hit the clock. Just
exactly.
To clarify for listeners, yeah.
No, I mean it's so I mean, but also Garry. I mean, Anish also knows how to play a bit dirty.
That I didn't know.
He's more subtle. He's Anish. He's more a bit more subtle than Hikaru. But he also knows how to play a bit dodgy. And also those guys are extremely strong.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
I know that Nepo was very disturbed a bunch of times also when they castled with two hands. Hikaru was still, and even you remember this in the candidates when Hikaru was trying to take back a move against Lev.
Right.
Even with cameras, he was trying to. I didn't touch the king. It was.
Well, there was the famous Kasparov Judith Polgar touch move.
That was also very clear. I mean that he moved it to the wrong square and should have lost that game. I mean, that was very, very clear. But Hikaru did this quite some years later with better cameras. And I mean, it's ridiculous, because of course it's cheating and you can't do this, But I think it's the upbringing also. I mean, Hikaru is a hustler, I mean, he's an extremely strong chess player. Don't get me wrong. He's extremely good and strong, and it's very impressive what he's doing now with the stream. That he's able to stream on that level and still go in there and play. But I actually think it helps him. Because I mean, the US is an expensive country, and financially this has secured his finances. And still he can go to tournaments and he can say that if it goes bad, I'm a streamer. So he's put himself in a position where he mentally has nothing to lose.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure that's why you see a new Hikaru again, because he's enjoying himself and he's in a good state. He's in a good place. I think he also got married and he's just in a good state at the moment, and that's why he's playing good. And he's a fantastic player. And also Fabi is back again, and he's always my favorite. Because he's a very, very nice guy. And he's very, very strong. He's very, very strong.
I mean, he's probably the strongest classical performance in recent years. Although the kids are all coming, so it's hard to know. Hard to know for sure.
Yeah, I mean they have to fight, to keep them behind because they are really, really good. The ones are coming, but I think the big problem in chess is that it's very hard to go the whole way up for anyone, nowadays. It's really difficult because I think that part of chess is not really working out, that. It's more like a cartel, at the top 15 players in the world, because I mean they get the invitations, and if you look at it, if you are cynical, which many of them are, then they look at it. Okay, what should I do in the tournament? Okay, let's not lose like 30, 40 points and go out from this, elite group.
Yeah.
And then what do? They play safe, and who can blame them, honestly?
Yeah,
because the way it's structured right now, it's like that if you have let's say you have 27, 60 plus, 65 maybe, then you are guaranteed to be there, And the difference is when you see some player who is on 27, 30 or something like this, even 40, is that player doesn't get any invitations.
Yeah. I mean, it can be the difference between making like hundreds of thousands a year and to barely being able to make a living.
Yeah, they get nothing. No invitations at all. So they are forced to play the opens. And I mean, everyone sees how it works in the opens now. I mean, it's endless of kids who are really good. And they have 2,200, 2,300, 2,400, There's like no... the ratings are still... completely wrong in many, many cases, and it's gonna take some years, before they will be adjusted. But it doesn't help them today. It's like we started this conversation. It's like I would say that the ordinary grandmasters are losing at the moment. Because the rating system is really not good, and then it's hard for these players. Like I just give you a name, Andrei Kim, for example, a fantastic player. Extremely good, extremely strong. But when do you see him in a tournament?
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, he never plays.
Someone like, yeah, and someone like Sam Shanklin, like when he won the U.S. championship and had that jump up, he was getting some invitations, but then his rating fell back down.
Yeah.
And now...
Yeah, I mean, this guy, for example, Sam is a extremely hardworking, excellent player, you know? But he's like, what is it, like 27.05 or something? No one cares, you know? It's just the truth, you know? It's like completely... No, it's not very good, you know? There should be more tournaments for people who are like, you know, let's say number 16 to number 100 in the world, you know?
Yeah, because, or at least, they should be involved more. Because, I mean, like, I'm not even as interested in seeing the same players play each other, even if they might be objectively a little stronger, which, as you say, we don't really know because their ratings might be somewhat protected.
Yeah, and it's like a cartel, you know. For me, I mean, in the business, well, you see those cartels now and then that someone tries to set up and then they go to jail. I mean, who's going to jail here, you know, in the chess world? Who are going to jail? Because for me, this is a cartel, you know. It's not... there is no, like I think in all sports that are good, you know, you have some kind of relegation and promotion functions, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
You don't have it here. It's just like, okay, it can even be like, and the guys who are in the top, it's the same guys all the time in all the tournaments. So that's why, for example, for me, when we were talking about the match with Hans and Magnus and so on, to be honest, I don't watch this kind of things. And it's not only because of time issue, it's because I'm not interested. Because they play... The top players play all the time.
Right.
And it's the same guys all the time. If it was a tournament with, let's say, they would spice it up with some interesting names, you know, maybe the guy who's number 155 in the world or whatever, that is a young, upcoming, funny player or whatever, then maybe I will watch it. But I'm not interested to watch people that I actually know very well, like, you know, Lev and Garry and so on. It's great players, but I don't want to see Lev play Garry, you know, 80 times a year.
Yeah,
I'm happy to watch those guys 5 times a year. And then I want to see some other matchup, you know. I want to see some of the 2680 guys, you know. I want to see different guys trying to beat Lev.
Yeah, I agree. Although I will say with the Magnus Hans one, like that one to me is different. Like they haven't played since the Singfield Cup. You know, Hans is better at speed chess than classical. This will be, you know, 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute format. And even though it's been online to qualify, the fact it'll be in person. You know?
Yeah, no. This is a funny matchup, you know. And if they both agree to play, you know, and there's. And since there seems to be not so much bad blood anymore.
I don't know about that. You got to watch. If you didn't see this interview with Hans Niemann, Pontus, you got to watch it. Did you happen to see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen
Okay, so after he qualified for the Final Four, and a lot of listeners will have watched this, it got hundreds of thousands of views. He did an interview with Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, and he just raged at chess.com and his mistreatment. So some of his gripes sounded legitimate, some I'm not so sure. But in any event, the bottom line is he's still livid. Like he feels like his life was irrevocable. His professional opportunities and peace of mind were sort of irrevocably damaged by the whole thing with Magnus. So even though they had a legal settlement, it doesn't seem like they've really made up. So
okay, it could be also that everything went through the lawyers and they never basically settled it, you know. And I'm sure he wants to prove a point, you know. But it's a little bit like the other match with Kramnik and Martinez. You know, because Martinez felt like he was very wrongfully accused, and he wanted to prove a point, you know, that he can match Kramnik. In over the board as well, you know, and I think he did, you know. I mean, he did what you can expect, and he won online and he lost narrowly over the board, and I think that's what you can expect because, I mean, he's a 2600 player. Kramnik is stronger, so it's what you can expect. So I don't think he was cheating. That's just.
Yeah, I agree. I
don't think he was cheating. He's just the new generation. He's good online. He's good with the mouse. He's fast.
Yeah,
and I think that it's more that Vladimir needs to accept that the times are changing. The players are fast. They are faster than him and his generation and my generation. They are just faster than we are with the mouse. Because they're grown up with this mouse and they have better reaction abilities. So it's, I don't think it's anything strange that sometimes you can have a totally one position and then suddenly someone is moving with commands or pre-moving and you don't even understand what's going on before you have lost some time. I think this is our generations. We just have to get used to this. This is what happens. This doesn't mean that they're all cheating or something. They're just faster. I mean, and so it's. I mean, I know sometimes if I play online, which I do usually a little bit before we have this World Rapid and Blitz, then I usually try to get back into.
Yeah, you're coming to New York?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
oh man,
when I saw it was in New York, I was very. I was extremely positively surprised because I mean, there's always been some talk about that it's going to be in Dubai, it's going to be here, and it's going to be there, And Norway was always, but there's always this issue with that Norway, they are very strict on Russian athletes. So they don't allow them to enter Norway to compete, which FIDE cannot accept, of course. So it's like always this issue. But so therefore it cannot be in Norway. But of course, Norway would have been fantastic. Also in India would have been fantastic to play because their chess is extremely big. In both those countries, chess is very, 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 very big. So it would have been nice to play in one of those countries, but at the moment it hasn't happened. But New York, for me, it's going to be a very different type of championship. It's going to be. I would expect it's going to be very well watched, and it's also going to be probably a lot of celebrity endorsements, and I think and also what really surprised me wasn't just the location, New York. It was also how early they were announcing it, because I'm used to get to know like on the 12th of December that okay, we are going to Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there. And it's not just, it's nothing against Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. It's more that the flight combinations are very messy, and we always have to fly, at Christmas. Yeah, and it's just I don't want to fly over Ukraine or Russia at the moment. I'm not interested in taking any flight that goes that route, And it's I think a lot of people feel the same, like you don't want to go around there, because if you bring up a map and you look where the tournaments are held, check the neighboring areas and countries, and it's like a war zone in more or less all of the countries around. And for me, I find it, but I understand what it comes from, because the way it's a very political question, because the way FIDE works at the moment, it's hard for them to find sponsors that are not tied to Russia in somehow. And then that's why, you go to Kazakhstan, you go to Uzbekistan, and the areas around there. And that's why I was surprised that this time it's New York. And I'm excited, actually. I think it's a great initiative, and I think it will be a lot of fun to play in New York.
Yeah. Usually my family, I live about an hour train ride from New York. Yeah. So usually my family travels that week, but I'm going to try to get clearance from my wife to come root you on, Pontus.
You have to be nice for the half year. This half year, you have to do your things. Just listen to the orders. Exactly. And it'll be nice. But I think you are not alone, probably. I think a lot of people have to do the same, because it's always the worst time for families, Yeah. But now it's tradition, So I think a lot of people who are married to chess players, or they know that Yeah, 25th to 30th, then it's the World Championships, in
Right, but usually it's like I can go somewhere, like I'm not playing, I can go somewhere and watch it online, but if I'm trying to actually attend, it's a bigger conversation.
Yeah,
But
no, I mean you are the top journalist. You have to attend. When it's on your territory. I mean, it's to be honest, you never know if it's gonna be there again. For during your lifetime even. It's like for me, like I said, it was a bit of shocker. That it was announced so early, and also the venue, like New York, and I don't know where in New York it's gonna be held, but. I think, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be good. I mean, the match with Magnus and Carlsen was good. So I'm sure it's going to be really good because you don't
I mean, we should say the company sponsoring it, Freedom Holding Company. I mean, they do have some questionable ties, you could say, but they sponsored a corporate chess event in New York that I went to that was very well run. Beautiful venue. So any political / corporate propriety issues aside, I think it's going to be an amazing event.
Yeah, but this is also like a bigger question, because the thing is that if you look at top level sports nowadays, it's so many questionable sponsors. I mean, I was watching the European. The European Championships in soccer, for example, a little bit. I saw some matches, and you see like the main sponsor is like Visit Qatar. And, you're like, what the hell is this? The European Championship, the main sponsor is Visit Qatar. That's very, very strange for me.
Yeah, and I'm always less sympathetic to like FIFA because like they don't have to. If they don't take the highest bidder, there's 10 other bidders, and you can go to the legitimate companies that are maybe fourth or fifth in line. Whereas with chess, they're at least like, it hasn't been easy to find corporate sponsors. So if you have one,
but in chess, if we're gonna be like transparent, I mean, then the problem is that with FIDE, FIDE is like Russian controlled at the moment, and it has been for many years. And there's like a current clash, between the West and Russia. And the Ukraine war is basically a proxy war, where most of a lot of Western countries are sending weapons, doing trainings for the soldiers, and it's just a very. If you're gonna be frank, it's just a bunch of hypocrites everywhere. This is really how it is, The West, the East, everyone's hypocrites, and so this is like some kind of modern warfare, And the problem then is that all these like global companies, they don't want to sponsor FIDE because what they see is that this is Russian controlled. For them it feels like for a lot of these big corporate CEOs, they feel that, okay, am I sponsoring Vladimir Putin? It's just, and this is really how they, people don't talk openly about this, but this is how they feel, and therefore it's like I went a little bit there before, like I said, that's why the tournaments go in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately how it is nowadays, and it's very sad because like chess, for example, is probably more popular than since like 1972 or something like this. I don't know. I wasn't around back then, so I can't say too much. So I'm not saying anything about it. But I think that chess has not been this popular for a very, very, very long time. This I can say. And then it's a bit sad because there is interest really in sponsoring chess, from all kinds of companies. But at the moment, how FIDE is structured, and it's not really, it's a bit hard, because I think compared to the other presidents, I think Arkady is doing a great job, as FIDE president. I think he's really doing a great job. Because if you look at, the other previous president, Kirsan, for example, what the hell is this? talking about aliens and selling weapons to some. I mean, he posted some picture with Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi and whatever it was, and Bin Laden. I think it was one time as well. I saw some picture, and then he's discussing chess in school with Bin Laden. I mean, come on. It's like, okay, it's good if it's truth, but you know, it's not really the way forward for chess, I think, you know. Or maybe it is, you know, maybe you can stop all kinds of, you know, wars and terrorism and whatever it is if everyone plays chess. So maybe this is how we should do it, you know. Instead of basically to all country leaders out there, you know, instead of sending weapons to in these proxy wars, try to send chessboards to everyone, and then we can see if it stops. No, but joke aside, I think that the world situation now is terrible, you know, and a lot of people, a lot of chess players have they needed to move their countries and some guys, you know, of the Ukrainian soldiers, they have died, you know. I mean, I don't know if Kovalenko is still alive or if he died at the border. And there's also a bunch of other guys, you know, that died defending their country against an attacker. And this affects, unfortunately, also, you know, the sport chess. Because you can see, like in the European countries, you know, you can see that the map is completely changed, you know. Because like top 100 of the Russian players, most of them have switched federation now. So we have maybe like of the top 100, I would expect that like at least 50 have changed federation. So it's very messy in Europe at the moment, you know, with these kind of things, and everything unfortunately comes back to this stupid war, you know. I think that probably 99.9% of the European population thinks that this is completely idiotic war. We really don't like it, and of course it's terrible for Ukrainian people and also for Russian people, you know, because it's just a very bad situation. But it's unfortunately affects you know, everything, like with corporate sponsorship and so on. Because when you see this, if you are like CEO of Coca-Cola and so on, you don't want to sponsor FIDE at the moment.
Yeah.
You just don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that chess, the attraction of chess is bigger than, for a very, very, very long time. So there should be interest for Coca-Cola to sponsor chess. But somehow you need to find some way to do it, you know, and maybe it shouldn't come through FIDE. Maybe it should come from some other less political organization. It would maybe be better, you know. So and I think that's basically what chess.com is trying to do at the moment. They're building up their own thing, you know, not to be there to rely on FIDE, because they have sensed this, of course, you know. I mean, Danny Rensch and Eric and those guys, they know business, you know. They know how to do it. So I think they have sensed this, and that, okay, let's build up our own stuff, you know.
Well, it can't come soon enough, but yeah, I agree. But in the meantime, at least, you know, this New York event, not perfect, but it will be a good showcase for chess, I think. So,
definitely. I mean, I think that you also, like I said, you know, I think Arkady is a good. I mean, he has been much better than the previous president. So I think that you know, he seemed they're doing what they can with what they have to work with. But it's not an easy time, you know, for anyone. It's just. And mostly, of course, for people who are in Ukraine and Gaza and so on. It's just, it's just awful, honestly.
Pontus, last thing. I mean, the reason I asked you at this particular time is to promote your event. So speaking of children, your company or your nonprofit, Business Meets Chess and Kids, is doing an event called Chess2Change, emceed by Maurice Ashley. But what should people, and so this podcast will come out about 5 days before that event takes place. I'll also do a quick announcement at the beginning of this podcast. But so what should people who are interested in either participating or watching know about it?
Yeah, basically, I can tell you something very quickly because I'm not sure everyone is familiar with Business with Chess and Kids and what we actually do. And
sure, yeah, and we discussed it some in our prior interview for anyone who wants to listen.
Yeah, exactly.
The one from 2019.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
But I will just do a quick summary. Basically, what we do is that we use chess exactly as I said because I think it's a fantastic tool for integration and interaction. So we basically pair business people around the globe, and also some adults, yes, chess lovers who are not actually entitled with some business, but they just enjoy to socialize and to help out, with kids from underprivileged areas. In a lot of them are in Africa, but we also have kids in Sweden, Norway, Spain, US, of course, because you have quite a lot of inner city communities there. So where the kids come from, and then we pair them with business people through chess. So they actually play chess together, and we have different events, both online and live. So we have live events where they play tandem chess together in tournaments and interact and meet and socialize. It's actually a lot of fun, and we have a lot of like Magnus, for example, is coming to the ones we do in Oslo on a regular basis. Last time David Howell was there as well, and so there's a lot of chess personalities, and also business people, of course, like big CEOs and owners and investors and so on. And the one that we have now on August 25th is called Chess2Change, and it's some talented young African kids from our programs that are basically going to play hand and brain. So in our hand and brain tournament together with Ben and a couple of other adults, most of the guys are business connected, but it's also a lot of supporters like Ben that are very into chess and impact and social change through chess, which is basically what this is about. So that everyone of the adults leaves a donation, which actually we use for the kids, so that they can get its clothes and it's of course sometimes a little bit food and but also a lot of chess things like books, like courses, it can be chess training, and also tournament expenses, of course, which gives these kids a chance to play tournaments, improve their level, and also get abroad. Because we have a lot of these kids now, they have started to become really good, which is shows that it's working. So we actually have some of the kids that are going to go to Hungary, to Budapest. They will play for their countries, which is...
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic when they are like 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, So they have many years left, but they have already... They've gotten even better than we expected, quicker. so I think we have we probably have 6 players or something like this in the Olympiad now. Maybe even more. Incredible. It might be even more, because I think Elam probably makes it in Norway as well. So yeah, we might have 7, 8 actually that actually gonna play in Budapest, which I think is a marvelous achievement when you honestly hardly have food for the day. To be able to represent your country, and some of them also, they are flying, like now they start to become quite experienced with flying, but I remember the first times, I got some videos also sent to me from their first flights. It was priceless, honestly. Sometimes, Right. Yeah, because it's just like, they enter a flight with this smile, it's because it's like for them, it's something that they honestly dreamt about, but never thought would ever happen. Sometimes, and it's like really, and it's also a lot because of the donors, our supporters, and it's not only individuals, it's also companies, like big shout out to FIDE, for example, a big Norwegian impact investor. We also like Microsoft, Spotify, like this big corporations also that also have helped us.
That's amazing.
And are still helping, like PwC, so we have Ernst & Young, of course. So we have a bunch of those big corporations that are also supporting in different capacities. But the 25th is then it's about the individuals, So everyone who can play chess, because this is a major requirement. You need to know the pieces, how they move,
right?
And you need to. It's good also with the mouse technique, So I don't think Kramnik is going to play on the 25th because he wouldn't be happy with the speed of Ben and someone else. But
I'm mediocre.
But actually, we should invite Vladimir because honestly, I know him. Of course, it's many years back, so maybe he will have a good matchup there with Dodgy, And then of course we will have a huge audience and many people who will donate, So this is how we do it.
Right.
This is how we do marketing nowadays. I remember what I studied, many years back. It's not valid anymore. Now it's just guerrilla marketing. The better the matchup can be, the better it is. So it's gonna be on August 25th, and it's basically from noon US Eastern time until 4 p.m. and every participant, everyone who wants to join, they can just contact us. And I think the easiest is on info@businessmeetschessandkids.com. You can send an email there or reach out to us if you want to participate. And the requirement is just basically that you leave a donation to the kids, and then you have to have like a laptop and camera and also some kind of a sound system. So like if you have a headset or if you have built-in speaker in the laptop, but it has to be something so you can communicate also with your partner.
Yeah, so you can play hand and brain.
With your partner kid. And also talk to the opponents, because it's also very socially. You have played one time, so you know it's a very social event where you also chit chat with the opponents after the games and so on. So it's and I think you were extremely close last time to win. It was like
blundered at the end.
Like 0.3 seconds, something like this.
We got in a time scramble. Yeah,
it was. You were runner up, but you were very, very, very close to win together.
The time scrambles in hand and brain are the hardest part because because you
have to be fast. You just have to make a move and so on. But I think you played with Jamie from Nigeria, I think, and you were very close, very, very, very close.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, but we have many of them. We have Deborah, for example, who is going to play now on the 25th. She's only 12 years old, and she's already, I think, 2068 or something like this in FIDE, which is incredible in Nigeria, because they don't have many tournaments. So it's not so easy to play, and then therefore it's very important with the support, because so that they can get some finances, so they are able to go to, like, for example, she's easily qualified for the World Youth Championships, but will she have the money to go there? That's always the question, And if you are maybe in the US or if you are in Sweden or so on, it's maybe not a question. There's all the money is there. You will go. You can just prepare, But for them, it's always like, first you have to raise all the money, and many of them try to do it by themselves somehow, to go around, knock doors or do some work, and it's just. It's just not how it should be. So it's therefore we are trying to help out with this and to give them a chance, because there's a lot of talent in Africa, but unfortunately the resources are the resources. This is even worse because I have to. Usually I'm, as you know, very optimistic, but I have to say something negative as well, and that's the African trade and industry. They need to step up, because it's they have the resources inside Africa, but they don't have any donation culture. So people are very bad in supporting inside Africa. It's actually, I mean, we have. I would say that of our support, maybe 95% comes from outside Africa, which is completely wrong, because you have a lot of extremely rich both corporations and individuals inside Africa, but they don't share. So, and this I really would like to encourage them, if anyone listens or whatever, it's time to change, guys. you need to start to open the wallet and contribute, You can't as always assume that it's going to come from Europe or the US, which is normally the case at the moment.
So Pontus, in addition to emailing Business Meets Chess and Kids, if people are interested in sponsoring a kid and participating, playing Hand and Brain, when I played, we ended up playing against Magnus's dad, Henrik Carlsen's team. You never know who you'll get to meet in an event like this. It will be streamed on Twitch, and I assume people who just would like to watch can also donate to support the cause.
Exactly. It's going to be on, so it's also a shout out to chess.com, because it's going to be, we play on their server, so it's going to be on chess.com, and so people can watch it there as well, and they can also donate, in the stream. So we will give you the link to the stream, so you can already publish it together with this podcast. So if they want to play, they can just reach out to us, and if they feel that, okay, I don't have the time, or I don't want to play, but I would like to support, then just tune in to the broadcast and maybe contribute with a donation.
Okay, and is there any sort of rating cutoff? Is anyone welcome to sponsor a kid and play, or do you need to be a certain rating?
No, anyone is welcome. As you know, Hand and Brain, it's quite hard, yeah? So it's not always, the one who's the strongest.
And you guys try to make relatively even teams, right?
Yeah, we do. And it's also, because you have to sync, because as you know, you have to be fast, because the ones because how we do it is that the kids are the brain, and no pun intended to the adults. It's just, it's easier to do it in that way, because it's also a little bit with the connections, because the internet connections in Africa is not always so good. So therefore, it's easier for us to do it in this way, that the adults are playing, executing the moves, because they usually have a bit better connections. And
I should have mentioned this earlier, but for anyone who's not familiar with the rules of Hand and Brain, basically it's a two-person, 2-on-2 game where one player is the quote brain, where they say the name of the piece that you're going to move, but they don't say what move. And then the hand is the person who actually makes the decision, and they make the move on the mouse. So your partner might be a very strong player, and they might say pawn. Well, it's up to you to figure out what pawn move to actually make, and it's a fun dynamic.
Yeah, no, it's actually really fun. It's a very social way of playing chess, and I personally really enjoy it. And Maurice Ashley is an excellent commentator.
Of course, one of the goats.
Yeah, he doesn't do that many of this kind of commentary jobs anymore. So, but he always he always says, I don't even have to ask him anymore. He says, count me in. So he loves this, because he also gets energy from the kids, and he enjoys, just being around the kids, and he feels a lot for many of these kids, because he has been to Africa. He knows that there's a lack of opportunities, a lot of talent, but a lack of opportunities, and therefore it's harder for them, to get easy things that you take for granted in the US or in Europe, and therefore they are very grateful of this kind of opportunities as well. When they can play on TV, they love this.
Right.
Yeah, because I'll tell you one funny story, because in Europe, you also have it in the US, but we have this this abbreviation they call GDPR rules. It's basically that you can't take photos of everyone at any point, and people need to approve that you will be able to take photos of them or video clips or whatever it is, And it's a major thing in especially in the Western European countries, And I know in Nordic countries it's really big. This, like it's a really big thing. You can't violate those, Then you are like the biggest criminal of the country. it's very, very severe. And then basically Jennifer Chade, very, very. I mean, the great Jennifer. She's excellent, and she's been very crucial for our cross-culture girls program, with where we have a lot of girls from actually 14 countries nowadays. We're meeting up every month a bunch of times, and yes, studying chess with chess legends as Judith Polgar or Pia Kramling or big players that are basically teaching them stuff, and also it's like female empowerment as well. So it's also social. But Jennifer, she was very worried about these rules, and she said, how can we really broadcast it because of the girls and the players, and Judy, who is our coordinator in Kenya, she said, but Jennifer, they will be in TV. They will be on TV. We don't care about this. They will be on TV. Yeah. What's the problem? this is really how different it is, because this is a major thing also in the Nordic countries, but it's very different over there. People want to be. This is like chance in a lifetime. That's how everyone sees it, And so they really enjoy it, to play and. Yeah, they've practiced well for this tournament, and they are looking forward to it. And like I remember when Magnus was guesting the tournament, 2 years ago, and then everyone waits, because for them it's really, really late. It's like beyond midnight, in Africa, because Magnus was coming on before the semifinal to comment on the semifinal and the final. Together with Maurice and Anna Rudolph. And then, so he came on really, really late. But all of them stayed in the call, Even though it's beyond midnight, It was 1, 2 o'clock in their respective countries, But they didn't care, They just stayed out because they all wanted to get a hold of Magnus, And maybe ask him a question even.
Yeah.
And
good stuff.
This is how it works, It's like... they see it as huge opportunities, this chance to interact, and fun thing also, because they are curious about, so they will ask you about how is the US, how is New York,
right?
Because they've never been there, of course, but they have heard about it. So and also I would say the last thing is like, it's also, chess is an excellent way to keep contact, because like, for example, if you are, let's say that you are giving you're donating something to some big charity organization and so on. Most of the times, the maximum you get is like a postcard, like some kind of generic thank you from. It's the same text on all cards, more or less. It's like it's not very personal, But it's much better with this chess charities, because here you actually can keep contact, and this is what a lot of our people in the network are doing. They actually play on chess.com or on Leashes. They just keep in touch through that.
Yeah.
So it's actually much better. So I think once again, chess has a lot of potential when it comes to this. To be like a tool for social change, because here you actually can, in an easy way, keep in touch with the kids that you are helping, without that it feels like annoying or unnatural or something like this, because it's very easy to go in there and play a game. I mean, this is something that you enjoy doing as well. So I think it's there is something there, that we in the chess world has to work more on. But now there are a couple of quite big chess charities, like the Gift of Chess, for example, an excellent charity. Big shout out to Tyrone Russell and the guys over there, and also of course the Tunde, Chess in Slums, fantastic work, and it's always nice, sometimes because we cooperate a lot, the free organizations, and it's always really good things that they are doing, So I'm actually gonna do a call later in the week with Russell and the guys at the Gift of Chess, because they are entering Latin America also now. With
they were just in Panama. I think I saw on social media.
Central America and Latin America, they are going to start to donate boards there. So I'm gonna help them to enter Colombia. So they're gonna work a bit with Sergio Barrientos and the guys in the Colombian Chess Federation. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a really good thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, August 25th, 12 p.m. New York time. I'll put whatever links are relevant in the description, and Pontus, I will see you there. You don't play, right? You're too busy.
No, I'm not gonna play. These days, what I try to do is, I of course have to help out with the organization because it's a lot of logistics.
All the Zoom extra conference rooms and stuff. It's impressive.
And to get the biggest problem is always to get the kids to good internet, because basically people don't know this, but we actually some of them, they go really, really far away from their homes.
Wow.
Because you have to find internet somewhere. So then they travel. Some of them travel 3-4 hours, to get to a good internet. So it's quite hard to. It's a lot of logistics behind the scenes. So I, of course, I help out with this, and then I try also to enjoy, this is because when it's finally up and running, I try to just watch it and enjoy, because this is for me, this is it's pure pleasure to watch it up and running, because it's really beautiful, to see all these people, from the whole world merge together in one joint interest, and everyone is having fun. It's not because sometimes when you do this kind of integration or networking projects and events and so on, it can be a bit doesn't feel natural sometimes, but here it really does, because everyone loves chess.
And it's excellent. Beautiful. All right, well, you're getting me excited, and what you said about the kids traveling 3-4 hours just to play, that really gives you perspective of the difference in quality of life, and obviously that's just the tip of the iceberg. But Pontus, really looking forward to it, and great to get your takes on everything going on in the world of chess, and hopefully obviously I'll see you online at the event, but hopefully it won't be 5 years before our next interview here on Perpetual Chess.
No. Maybe we'll meet in New York.
So I might need you to put a word in with my wife.
Exactly.
But I gotta make that happen.
We can write one recommendation letter each to each other's wives.
Right. Exactly.
So no, but it will be I'm really looking forward to it, actually visit New York. I was there already in April this year for some chess promotion and some meetings, but I'm looking forward to come back. It's always nice to also take some games with the hustlers there in Washington Square Park, because
for sure.
They always, it's always, until up to now, I have never lost a game actually there. But you never know, who will sit down.
No,
people play good in New York. They have high level. So I was actually close. I played with a girl from Marshall Chess Club, and my position at some move there was very fishy. So it's always like this, you when you sit down there at the park, you play, you enjoy, and then you get, when you're a GM, it always works the same. You play, you win some games, you get arrogant, and then you make some moves. And then at some point, you freeze inside because you start to look at your position and then you're like, whoa, I'm losing. What's going on? And then you always refocus and most of the times you are able to solve your problems. But I think all GMs out there knows what I'm talking about. You sit down and then you somehow get into this kind of arrogant mode after some games where you don't pay full attention, and then it's the players are good nowadays. I have to say they're really good.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think that this kind of playing style works more. You have to be focused all the time, even if you play on the streets or in these world championships. You have to be focused.
Well said. All right, well, hopefully we'll work on it and hopefully see you there. But before then, we'll see you online on August 25th. Thanks again, Pontus.
Yeah, August 25th. And if, like we said, if someone is interested also to know a bit more what we are doing and maybe cannot make August 25th, you can always reach out to us and maybe you can enter, businessmeetschessandkids.com. The website, and there you can see what we are doing and see other events where you can also join and sign up and support. So but if you want to play, yes, please reach out to us and you're welcome. Everyone is welcome.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks again, Pontus.
Thanks for having me. And let's see when next time will be.
Exactly.